Okay, hello everyone. Thanks for coming, and great to have this opportunity to share some of my thoughts about how to get enrolled in college with a successful creative portfolio. My name is Kim Bin. First, I'd like to tell you guys a little bit more about my background. Currently, actually all my life, I've been doing startups. I seldom work for other companies. Because when I got here, it was when I got to America, it was Bill Clinton was still the president, and that time, was the first internet bubble, and every people who had a good idea can get some funding. Then they can use the funding to try their ideas. So my first company was TriThanks. Later I'll introduce more about TriThanks. Then I've been keep doing startups until my second startup, Sandstone in Chicago. Then I moved to Beijing. I used to teach in Central Academy of Fine Arts. Most people should know Central Academy of Fine Arts is known as the best art and design school in China. And I also been running my own design consultancy, Piao, which means people and people, which also means it's a people-centered, human-centered design consultancy company. And that company is still running in Beijing, and I still own part of that company. And by running that consultancy in Beijing, and also by in the age of mobile internet booming in China, during the past 15 years was the booming of mobile internet in China, and I was running my consultancy in Beijing, so I got the opportunity to work with a lot of international brands for a lot of mobile services. Later, I will introduce you guys a little bit about the mobile services I have done before. Then I moved back to Silicon Valley. Then first I was teaching in San Jose State University. I taught human factors, physical factors, psychology factors, how people and the computer interact. And I also teach interactive design, user experience design as well. Then I've been running my startup since then, GoPack was a travel booking company. I used to work for iHealth, a company called iHealth. I was working there as a CCO, Chief Creative Officer. I graduated from Hunan University for my bachelor degree in China, which is known for it's an over 1,000 years history academy since Song Dynasty. And I got my master degree in fine arts in Savannah, Georgia, Savannah College of Art and Design. Many of them may not know this school, but if you got a chance to visit Georgia, I would advise you go there, take a look. Because it's not because I graduated from there. I would say it's the best art and design school in the world. Maybe you think I'm too proud of my own school, but if you go there, because I graduated there 20 years ago. When I was in school, I was industrial design major. We was able to make a car, full-size car. After finish, we just drive to a road. And we was able to build the boat inside our school workshop. Then we'd be able to go to the ocean to try the boat. So if you go there, you still can see the car and the boat we built before, and also the student build after. So that school has best facilities, very large campus, best, they have money, so they have also very well-known professors there as well. So currently, I'm running my own company called Enroll. If you like, you can also download and try. It's a location-based business social network service. So it allows you to browse professions nearby. For example, if you are running a startup, you want to hire a Java engineer, you just open the app, say, hey, there's a Java engineer nearby, chat with him, then meet for coffee, then he might join you, right? Or if simply you just need a roofer or handyman or a plumber, you can search nearby and find them and talk to them and hire them, to work for you. Again, this was my first startup. This startup was in Savannah, Georgia, when I was in my graduate school. The idea of this is to bring smell into the internet. So think about today with the computer, with the technology, you can listen to audio, listen to voice. You can look at pictures, images, but you cannot smell, right? You have 5 senses, right? But you cannot. So we are trying to bring the 6th sense into the internet. So that's why this concept was so creative that we got a lot of media attention. Even if today, if you Google my name or TriSense or company name, you still can find many media reports from BBC, CNN, ABC, Good Morning American News, Time Magazine. We was on Time Magazine as well. We have a cartridge, with fragrance oil in it. So you'll be able to mix the fragrance oil, get the smell you want. So, for example, you are sending a flower to your loved ones. Then when he or she open the computer, they will be able to smell the rose, smell the flower. Yeah. So that company got us a lot of attention, and that was my first startup experience. That's why since then I had never want to work for any other companies. That was for the photography for that product. And that product also got many awards, like Good Design Award, and it was also permanent collected by Chicago Athletic Museum. So it's an honor for that, and because of that, I got my EB-1A green card. So I don't have to get my H-1B, waiting for so many years. That was the video in that many TV station being a report about us. When I was running that company, the TriSense, I tried to have the product made. Then since I was trying to have the product made, I figured out that the manufacturing cost between US manufacturing and China manufacturing is much different. So after September 11, when it will become very difficult to get more funding, and also the product itself is not a must-to-have product, so we wouldn't be able to make enough cash flow. So I moved to Chicago. I had my second company called Sandstone. I help a lot of medium and small-sized companies to have their product made in China so they can save their cost. Because in the States, all the big companies, they know how to go to China, go to Asia to have their product made, or even they will set up their factory plant in China. But for small and medium companies, even though they want to save money, they didn't know how to do it. And they also don't trust, they don't know how to communicate, they also worry about the IP, intellectual properties issues, all the things. So we sign up NDA with them. We have people in China do the sourcing. We help them manufacturing their products. So that was my second company. Then I moved back to Beijing. I was the founder and first director for the transportation design department in Central Academy of Fine Arts. Because at that time, China, the automobile industry was booming. So a lot of like Chery, and also GD, right? There's so many new China-owned branded manufacturing automobile brand manufacturers, but all they know is to copy U.S. style or European style, right? So as the best art and design school in China, CAFA, Central Academy of Fine Arts, so we want to establish this program. And I was lucky I became the first director, and I was able to build up this program out of nothing. So I built up really Also build up a relationship with a lot of manufacturers globally as well. So that was me. I was teaching students how to do sketching, clay modeling, and also tape drawing, renderings as well. So this was a car project we did for Chinese government. So we want to have their own style. And I also let some students work with China manufacturers, like that was for Nissan. Nissan has a joint venture in China, so we worked with them for Nissan Paladin redesign. And we also worked with MPV project with Dongfeng, Dongfeng Automobile in China. And during Beijing Olympic in 2008, we helped design an Olympic bus with our students. That was also one of my CAFA students' work. He put a tractor together with a motorcycle, and it's very cool and running very well. Yeah. So that was me when I was teaching. Yeah. So I also get a lot of media attention during that time. If you Google Baidu my name in Chinese or English, you still find many media reports. But of course, I always believe that CEOs must be designers, not just hiring a designer, Because as a designer, our mindset are not vertical. Our mindset are very horizontal. We learned a lot about the marketing. We learned a lot about psychology. We learned a lot about aesthetics, or even manufacturing knowledge, all the things. So, and also I believe to win the market, sometimes it's not rely on how good your technology is, but rely on how you really understand your consumers, right? So it's a winning in psychology issues, and we've been learning that, especially the psychology fact, how it related to your products. I've been working as an industrial designer. I work for my clients like LG, GE, Motorola, China Mobile, China Telecom, Nokia. Those are my clients when I was running Piao in Beijing. And as I said Piao is still running in Beijing right now. So that was a project for China Mobile for the Wong Fan. I don't know if some people may heard about that. It's based on a Windows Mobile 6.5, but we want to customize so it don't look like the Windows operating system anymore. So we redesigned the UI for user interface for Wongfan. It's a special phone for Vietnamese people, manufactured by China Mobile. And another project work with Miku, also work with Bank of China. So every time they give you a dynamic PIN number, so you don't have to remember your PIN number by your fingerprints. So they get your dynamic PIN number. We also used to work with wearable products with French Telecom. A lot of time, French Telecom had Orange. They had during past 3 years had 5 employees suicide. So they want to care about people's psychology and mental health. So we were designing the product monitor their physical signals, but also analyze their psychological signals. So to also connect them with the caregivers as well. We've been helped Nokia for many projects. This is one of them. This was not a Symbian or Windows Mobile. This was a platform called Migo. I don't know if any people heard about that. It's an operating system Nokia had before Windows Phone. They was working together with Intel. They had this operating system. I actually liked it, so I don't really understand why they give up Migo and move to Windows Phone. We helped other companies build a voice blog, so you can send a voice as your blog. so people can interact with voice as well. You can also insert claps, insert laugh, all the things, sound effects. You can browse your new voicemail, something like that. We also hope China Telecom designed their context book. We try to use a metaphor of the traditional phone. And I used to, my last startup, we started from a booking, flight booking. So since it's booking, right, so I designed this like a book. And also I try to use because normally when you design a website, the website have pages. If you go to Expedia, Kayak, it has so many pages. But I don't want people to have that kind of experience. I try to make you feel like it's like a pad. So it's always only one page. And again, I also use a visual metaphor, so it's like a flight ticket. And also, we only give you one result. The result based on your understanding of your curriculum. Just think about whenever you tell your secretary to book a flight ticket for you, right? Or you call an agent, travel booking agent, he or she will never give you a list of options. They will only give you one option based on understanding of your preferences, right? So that was our design. We try to learn users' preferences, and we only give the one lowest quote within your preference. Yeah. So anyway, back to today's topic. We want to talk about creativity, college enrollment, all the things. So last year I also had a sharing here as a spring light education about what's the creativity to me, right? Because like right now I also have two children. I have two daughters. One of them already in pre-K, will be in K this fall. So we transferred for 3 schools. Even though she's only K for now, we transferred for 3 schools. Why? Because we never satisfy the way they teach creativity. They teach art, but when you go to their wall, their artwork are all like this. They are teaching students to copy instead of being creative, Because even if it's a tiger, I believe there are a lot of ways to draw a tiger. You don't have to copy the same thing for all the students in the classroom will draw the same thing. So I want them to be creative since they're very detailed. I also saw some training schools, when they train people how to be creative, they will put 2 things together, then call that creative. Like they put a hot air balloon with the bubble together and say, hey, this is creative, So, but I don't believe in that. Why? Just think about, because I think human was born with creativity. The thing is how you train them knowing how to use the creativity, right? It's not just by combining 2 things together. For example, there are many parents here today. When your child was just born, the first time you introduce a cat to him or her, right? Then she will recognize all the cats in different styles. Just look at the cats. They look so much different, right? Different styles. But why they can recognize them? Because human brain was born to processing information and to get the common and differences, right? So then they were processing to create. They should be able to processing, find things in common and create their own. That's what my understanding. So creativity to me is to research, understand the differences and the common things, then you elaborate to create your own things. That's still based on your findings, right? Based on your analysis. So no matter IDEO, we all know it's a very well-known design consultancy firm. They will say, hey, we need to hear what people talk about, what people's feedback, opinion, or what people's problem. Then we create. then we deliver the products, right? That's their process. Right now, Stanford, this school also say, hey, we have design thinking process. Design thinking, we first we have the empathy. So we try to understand consumers, try to understand the target audience, right? Then we stand on their point to create, to prototype, to test, right? So that's the design thinking process. But all to all, if I summarize, is about study, right? Because it's not about the cat anymore. When your kids grow up, they have more problem to solve. So it's not as simple as a cat, right, or a dog. So they have to process more information. So the first, when they're trying to solve the issue, or to be creative, they need to research a lot, to study a lot, research a lot. Then they collect all the information, they analyze, right? They analyze, then they start to create. Then they validate their concept, right? That's the creativity process to me, yeah. Okay, so today I also want to talk about Asian tax. All the people here in this room are Asians, so we all have facing the same issues. Based on a research study from Princeton universities, Asian students' SAT score will have to be 140 score higher than white students, right? Will be 270 score higher than Latin American students. Will be 450 score higher than African American students, right? So that means for Asian students, you have to work a lot harder, right? But is that really enough? I know all the students, Asian students, really working so hard, but why we still have such issues, right? So last year, we all know last year we have the Harvard University, right, for their admission process. And I believe you guys have also heard about the adversity score, right? You heard about the College Board just released the adversity score, which is their innovation, right? Their creation. So by that means the Asian students in the States will be even tougher. How tougher? Let me calculate for you, right? So if you are Asian, you will automatically minus 150 score. If your parents, your household income is above 200K, many cities can vary household above this level, and you will minus another 162. And if your both parents has master degree or above, you will minus another 129, right? Most Silicon Valley parents are like that. And so even if you get the full score, which is so difficult to get, right? Your adjusted score will be only 1,154. But if you think about it, if it's an African American student, then by default, he or she will get another 122 score. And if their parents only has high school degree, then they will get another 63. If their household income is between 40 to 60K, they get another 8. So which means if they only get, their score is only 961, it will be almost like you get a full SAT score, right? So what should we do, right? Of course, I don't want to talk about politics here today. That's not the topic of today. And I also been thinking, because I'm also a father of two kids. Right now, I don't know if we will plan to have the third one or not yet. And I was from Hunan. Many people from mainland China should know. If you are born in Hunan, your 户口 is in Hunan or Hubei, you will also have to have a lot more higher score than people from other schools, other province, right? Like when I was in college, the student from Beijing was like 370, and I was 550, something like that. And student from Gansu was like 320 or something, you know, or not to mention Tibet or Xinjiang, right? So, but is that really unfair? You know, frankly, you know, this China students, high school students prepare for college admission, you know, very tough, you know, very picky, selective, you know, especially for students from Hunan, Hubei, you know. But honestly speaking, even though my score is much higher than students from Beijing, you know, I have to admit, in some aspect, they are doing much better than me, right? Because by being in Beijing, they've been trained to many other things. You know, I wouldn't be able to, and my parents just keep studying. You know, so that's the difference. So that's my family, my two kids. So I also think about how I want them to grow. You know, and I also want them to get a full score in SAT. Probably not the way I want, right? Because both me and my wife, we graduated from art school. You know, we want our kids be creative. We want our kids be happy. We don't want packed my kids' time all the time. Just keep studying all the things, you know. And frankly speaking, during the past years, Sherry has referred some Asian students to do internship in my company. Frankly speaking, I would say some students are good. And there was one or two girls I really like. They're very outgoing and they really have a personality, really creative and initiative, you know. But there was also some students, they look shy and they seems don't have their own mind, don't have their own opinion, or maybe they have it, but they just don't want to say it during a meeting, you know. So I cannot feel their confidence, you know. I cannot feel they're so independent, you know. Because of that, they sometimes look so just like when I just got to school, I don't look that smart, you know. So I believe we are all in the States. We all know what the American values most. It's not just American values most, right? Even in other countries with values, not just the colleges values most, right? But I also understand because our parents, like my parents, my parents were born in China when China was very poor, right? So all they want is us to have a surviving skills. They want us to secure our future, right? They don't hope we become a big man or great man. They just hope we can secure our career, right? So that's what our parents has planned for us. But maybe it's time to change, right? Especially since we are in America, in one of the most developed countries here. So maybe we should give our kids a better way to grow themselves, to find their own interest, right? To build their more characters, more values, right? More merit, like openness, ambition, curiosity, creativity, all things, right? One of the things is, for example, the Asian kids I met, I think the parents just been taking care of them so well that I cannot feel independency on them, right? I know it's a difficult decision. Even myself, I don't know if I can do that for my own daughters, right? I think also because of the lack of independency, sometimes you don't feel they're so confident on themselves, right? They are not so open to express their own feelings or their own ideas. And their personality, you don't feel much difference, you know. You don't feel a strong personality. And also, they've been protected so well, they didn't care too much about the world. So you cannot feel compassion on them, you know. They really care about the others, care about the other people, or minorities, or people in the developing areas. They don't, because in all the Asian students will learn a piano, will learn a violin or something. So you don't see their own personal interest and their own commitment on something, right? And most of the time, as parents, we have decided for them, right? So, and because of that, creativity may also be an issue, right? But if you think, I quoted from Harvard, right, the admission page, you can find it there. Even Harvard has put a lot of emphasis on creativity sensibilities. And also we care a lot about the problem solving skills, right? But as I mentioned, the problem solving skills should be through the mindset of how to research, how to analyze, how to build and test. Okay, so so that's why when Sherry said, hey, maybe you should come in, teach some course, I say, okay. So if I try to be some help, the first class I would like to teach is about contemporary art. There are many art training schools in the Valley, and most of them are graduated from traditional China art school, the educational system. So they train a lot of skills, techniques. I don't think it's bad, but like I don't train my daughter to do all the techniques, because techniques is so easy to learn. But creativity, if you destroy it, or the confidence you destroy it, it's very difficult to build, right? And even though they've been trained all the techniques and they draw a portrait or they draw a figure so well, the perspective is right, the shadow, the light, all the things is right. Still, current art community don't appreciate that. If you think about it, whenever you go to a museum, you'll say, hey, why don't I cannot appreciate the artwork in the museum anymore, right? Because you don't understand the art. It's not the art. Your kids have been trained in all the training schools, right? It's much different. Your kids have been trained to draw the shadows, all the geographies, all the things. But when you go to the museum, the work is like this, right? Anyone know who drew this? It's Jackson Pollock, right? But do you know how much it cost? Okay, I don't know every piece of his artwork cost, but I give you one example. And also, do you know how he created work? Can you repeat that? Actually, if from Chinese art school's point of view, he is not even an artist. Why? Because the paint color was just household paint. Just household paint where you can buy from Home Depot in the Lowe's. And he even didn't mix the color. He don't know how to mix color. He just pour it. So all the paint was by pouring the colors, the paint, household paint. That was him during his working process, right? And this piece, I know how much it cost. Can you guys guess a figure?
No.
Millions? Even more than that. It's $140 million. Yeah, 140 million US dollars. And because it's just pouring, it's difficult to give a name, right? This artwork name is number 5. Artwork number 5. Okay. So this is artwork 17A. 17A. This one is 200 million. 200 million. Of course, you can do the same thing when you return home. You can do the same thing, but you cannot sell for such a high price. Why? Because all the media, all the press, all the art auctions has made him to that level. Then his work will be worth money. That's one thing. Another thing is that every contemporary artist has to be very creative. It's not like in China. In China, you will say, "Hey, my professor was Master Zhang or Master Zhang Daqian or something like that, right?" Then I picked his style. But in contemporary art, you cannot pick anyone's style. If you pick his style, then your work was nothing, right? We need to be very unique, so he can pour, you cannot pour. You pour, then it's garbage, right? Can you guys guess how much it costs?
500 million.
Not that high, but close, right? What about this one?
A billion.
A million? Do you want to buy it?
No.
This one is by my daughter. This one was by my daughter when she was 2. Okay. What about this one? Huh? You think it's my younger daughter? No, this is by Jan Mitchell. Mitchell. This is by Jan Mitchell. This is also by Jan Mitchell. Okay. What about this one? Yeah, my daughter. It's also by my daughter. Okay.
No difference.
It is no difference because I personally even don't like her art. You know, I think it's garbage, but it was that much money. You know? Because they made her star. You know, because that's contemporary art. It's all about performing. You know, so you make yourself a star. Every people like you. You become a star, then you watch that. Even just like a movie star, you need to know how to perform. You know, you perform, then all the meet. So the art world is exactly like entertainment world. You know, exactly like that. Yeah. So if you say, hey, I'm a hard-working artist, I learned a lot of skills like Chinese artists, no, it was nothing. Even there's a very famous artist, and he is even my colleague in CAFA, in Central Cabinet of Fine Arts, Len Jun. I don't know if anyone heard of him. You know, his work is called photorealistism. You know, so every single thing, even the hair in your hand, you can see it in his artwork. But if he come to the United States, nobody appreciate that. People say, hey, why are you spending so much stupid time? You know, I can get the best camera, you know, then I can get that details, right? So you're wasting every piece of work. He will spend 6 months or 9 months just finish one painting, you know. But that kind of work doesn't be appreciated by the U.S. or by the Western world, by the art community. We don't like that. We think that's garbage, you know. Because why? Because you are not creative. You're just trying to make it realistic. What's the value for that, right? And this lady, she's a really bad girl. She has a very bad temper. You know, she smokes very heavily. You know, even if you sit with her on the table, she will curse you. You know all the things. You know, but people like that kind of stuff. You know, so. Sometimes I tell my students, hey, be a bad boy, be a bad kid, you know, don't be a good kid. You know, that's not the way it is. Okay, so this is also by John Mitchell. This one was 11.9 million. Yeah, so that's about her range, her work range.
Is there anybody just drawing blank and say this is so disruptive?
Yes.
Wow.
I'll show you. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. What about this one? How much it may cost? Yeah, it is by my daughter. Okay. What about this one? This one was used chalk. Did that on the blackboard. You know, every people can have a blackboard. You just use chalk. We did that. This one cost 70 million. 70 million, you know. Yeah, and I don't think need a lot of training or skills to do that. You don't. You know. What about this one? You think it's by my daughter?
It's by you.
By me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. It's by Paul Kelly. Paul Kelly. This piece is cost $3 million. What? $3 million. Yeah. What about this one? Yeah, it is by my daughter. So what about this one?
This is not your daughter.
Yeah, this is David Hockney. Yeah, also millions. Yeah, this is by my daughter 3 days ago, and I really love it. I really like it. Yeah.
Is the price determined by the painting or by the painter?
By the painter. The painter himself or herself has to be a best performer. You have to know how to make noise, draw attention. Just like all the people who get a lot of fans or followers on Twitter, on Instagram, you have to be a performer, right? It doesn't matter. You already have a lot of skills. It's not about but you also have to be creative. You need to make sure your style is unique, right? And you got to have a unique theory to back up. So whenever you draw it, people don't understand it. You have a theory to support it. Later I talk about theories. What about this one? Actually, this is also by David Hockney. His work, he's still alive, and his work was sold for 90 million. He was the highest selling price for an artist that's still alive. He's still alive nowadays. But now his record has been break by another artist who sold his work for $91 million. Because they are still alive. Most artists only sell their work for very high price after they die, right? So what about this one? That's my okay. Yeah. No. Okay. Yeah, this is by Sam Gideon. Sam Gideon is a black African American artist. His work is about 2 million, around 2 million. Yeah, it's my daughter. Okay. Okay. So this is by Joseph Albert. We will say, hey, if you go to this one is in the museum in Stanford University, right? If you go there, hey, what's this, that, right? Why it costs so much money, right? It costs a lot.
What is it?
Like it's just a plaque, but there are nine grades, so 9 different plaques. If you turn off the light, maybe you can see better. It's a little bit different brightness, black, But why his work is also cost so much? This is Joseph Albert. He was a professor in Bauhaus. Anyone know Bauhaus? Bauhaus was a technical training school in Germany before World War II. So Bauhaus was be treated as the beginning of modern design. So they've been training people to do furniture, industrial designs, or other things, graphic designs. So after World War II, they run from Germany, they moved to America. So many professors and teachers become very well known in the States, And they even funded several schools in the States, like IIT, Illinois Institute of Technology, and also Cranbrook, and so on and so forth. So this professor, all his life is to study color, and he think, even black, we have so many blacks, we have millions of blacks, right? But when you say that in English or in Chinese, you don't only have limited word to describe it. It's so difficult to describe a color. Even it's yellow, it has different tones of yellow, different tone, different hue, different brightness, right? So that's why he just used all the color to contrast, to show you the contrast between the brightness, the hue, all the things. But of course you can do the same thing, right? But because he also has this theory, right, which made him important in the art history, right? So his work was money, If you do the same thing, you don't. Right? This was by Gerhard Richter, called Blood Red Mirror. It's just actually it's red. It's just bloody red. It's a piece of red, and it's also $1 million piece, right? Yeah, only one color. So another artist, Lucio Fontana, he just used his knife, cut the canvas, right? Then become a famous artwork, right? Because he's unique, right? Creative, right? Okay, then contemporary artists, we try to be creative. We try to move away from traditional techniques, try to break the boundaries of whatever limited your creativity. Before you have to be trained for 10 years to be a master in paint, right, or in painter. But now you don't, right? You don't need to worry about all the techniques. Creativity is the key. Okay, so come to this guy. This Malevich. Malevich is a Russian artist. So he has his own theory. His own theory is that any natural beauty will be able to lead back to the basic fundamental forms or shapes. That's why all his artwork is just a circle or a square or a triangle or the basic shapes, right? Because that's his theory. So his theory has been called as a superior medicine, superior medicine. So this is just a circle, black circle. This is just a rectangle, a square. And when you say what's the basic, out of the basic, right? It's not just a circle or triangle or square. It's nothing, right? So that's why he also had one piece, which is nothing, only one blank canvas, and it also cost millions of dollars, right? But of course, your canvas wouldn't cost that much. Then we moved to like Andy Warhol, very famous artist in the United States, right? He had a lot of pieces, but none of them was drawn by him. Was printed. He just signed his name, right? Because it's printed, so now in any galleries, almost any galleries in the States, you can find his work. Because it's mass production, he just signed his name, then costs a lot of money, right? But he also has his own theory. His theory is that because after the Industrial Revolution, so everything will be mass produced, will be repeated. So all his work is repeated, mass produced. So that's his theory. And he is also, like I said, he's also a performer. He tried to make himself very cool, he tried to make a lot of stories, draw a lot of media attentions, right? Marilyn Monroe, also tomato sauce, right? So even them, they are still on canvas, right, or on paper. So what if we even break the boundary of canvas and paper, and also we don't have to use pen or color, right? So that's why Don Trump's fountain, his work fountain, becomes so revolutionary, because you may not like it, right? It's just a urinal. He put a urinal to the gallery and become a masterpiece. It cost millions of dollars, right? And because he say, hey, the art before was everything was you use pen, you use brush, you use the canvas, you use paper. Now I just use the gallery wall as my canvas. I use a already made product as my paint, my hand, So that he created the new style called ready-made, art. You just put this is a piece of art, you can take home. Yeah, just like that, so called ready-made. And the funny thing is that, after the exhibition, it's gone, it's lost. So every piece you saw today are replicated piece. because I think because people think, hey, this is garbage, maybe the cleaning guy just threw it away. Then people have to replicate that piece, so no original piece anymore. Yeah. This guy called Joseph Beuys. Joseph Beuys just say, hey, I have my series idea art. So I use my performance, I just like this one. He just painted himself like a gold man, Brahman. Then he talked to rabbits for 3 days and 3 nights in the gallery, talk art theory with the rabbits, dead rabbit, So the whole process is his artwork. He also used fat, butter, fat on the chair. That's his work. He say he represent. He put two common items in our life together and represent a human body. He think, hey, this is a human body, just some skeleton with your fat, right? Then he made a lot of pieces like that. But the gallery has to put a lot of money to stay the temperature, try not the fat will not vibrate. But even though after 21 years, all the fat is still gone. Now if you go to gallery, most galleries only in the chair, still there, right? But even that, they will say, hey, the whole process of the fat vibrate is my art process as well, because that's just like human life, you will disappear anyway, So this is a couple, the artist married couple, so called Crystal and Jenny Cloud. What they do is that they will wrap the whole building or wrap the whole island. And that's the way they do landscape art, So it's also very fun. And this was, they wrapped the islands called this piece called Surrounded Island. They surrounded with a floating fabric, pink fabric, for 11 islands. They did that, and they took a photo from the sky, and they sold photos for millions of dollars, And this one is called Valley Curtain. It was in Colorado. They put a curtain between the mountains, and very beautiful, right? Very nice view. All the artists I mentioned, have they been training all the things? No, they don't know how to do that, and they don't like that, Like I said, that kind of art are not being appreciated by art community anymore, That's not contemporary art. This is a Chinese American artist called Cai Guoqian, right? All his work, this is during his artwork creation process. He used the fireworks, then light the fireworks, then boom. That's the creation. So that's his work. Yeah. He will put color, put fireworks, then light, then boom. Sometimes he also intentionally to display the fireworks, then use the light, right? So it also, you can also see some patterns, right? Some patterns. And this was also by Cai Guoqian when he was in Paris, right? He this artwork name is called One Night Stand. So he put all the camps on top of the river and invite all the couples to go inside, do whatever we want. Then it took the whole environment, and also the couples are his brush and pen. This is a Swiss artist called Milo Mori. She is a feminism. She say, hey, we need to protect women's rights, right? Women should be able to control whatever they want, right? So that's why she created this piece, ask people to touch her breast, because she want to, that's the way she say, hey, we want to protect female rights, This Ai Weiwei, right? Many people know him. This was when he just went to New York. He didn't study art. He don't know how to create art. He didn't know anything. But he visited a lot of galleries. That was he taking a photo with Andy Warhol, the portraits, right? This is Ai Weiwei nowadays. See the difference? The difference is now he know how to perform. He know how to do performance, right? Become a actor anymore. Artist should be a good actor. So now he become a good actor. He know exactly what are the Western countries' values. Like he will try to against Chinese government a little bit, but he wouldn't try to go too far in case he will go to jail, right? So after after the Sichuan earthquake, he went to Sichuan. He had an argument with the local police. The local police hit his head, So he took a photo in front of the mirror, then post to Twitter. A lot of people retweet, Then after that, he tried to memorize all the little kids died in the earthquake. So he bought a lot of backpacks, and put on the Berlin in Germany, the gallery wall. Said she lived in this world for 7 years, So that's her work. She also made 100 million pieces of sunflower seeds, because Chinese people eat a lot of sunflower seeds, and we will also say, hey, all the children are like flowers, we towards the party, Communist party, So that's why he made that installation. Just put all the sunflower seeds on the. It's made from porcelain. It's not the real sunflower seeds. Put on the floor of the gallery. So now, like I said, all the contemporary artists is trying to run away from traditional media, traditional materials, traditional paint, all the things. Think about now, if we created an artwork together here, now, right? I would say, hey, just think about the image in your brand, right now. So have you guys got an image? Now then I will say, hey, I will sign my name on it, because I just asked you to create, right? So I just use you as my brush. So all the images I created today is a gift from me, I created, and it's my work, okay? Because I will sign my name on it. Last time there was a friend showed me student work. I couldn't find the original work. I couldn't find the work. It's not bad. I would say it's not bad. Last student even got some student art competition awards, right? He created the work, used the space blanket, and put the teddy bear inside. Say, hey, because of Trump, or many illegal immigrants has separated from their family. They have to stuck in the refugee camp in the border of Mexico. So I would say for student artists, that's not bad. But I would say it's not just about trying to bend a concept to your art. Of course, a concept is important. Right? Concept is important. Like I said, every artist have their own theory, have their own concept. But again, art still is a visual or emotional expression, right? You need to be, you want to be very impressive, right? Impressive. So think about the Japanese artist Takashi Murakami, right? Most of his work is kind of like a cartoon, right? But he make it very impressive. Is that right? He make it very big. He repeat the pattern, make you feel shock, make you feel echo in your heart. Right? This is by another artist.
I didn't get that.
It's by another by another artist. He now is the president, the principal in Central Academy of Fine Arts called Xu Bin. Right. This is Xu Bin's book. Xu Bin's artwork called "Book from the Sky." Book from the Sky. First, the whole installation is so big that it will give you impression, right? Second, if you look into the details, all the books, every single character was invented by him. He studied the way we invented the Chinese characters. Then he write this book. They call it "Book from the Sky" or "Book from the Heaven." Means you cannot read it. You can read it. You cannot read any character, even though it looks so familiar, looks like a Chinese character, but you cannot read it. So that's his work. So you also need to think about the installation, the way how to bring emotional feedbacks or impressions to your audience, right? This is a Japanese famous artist, like Kusama. Kusama, all her symbols are dots, red dots, right? But think about such installation, give you a very strong impression, right? And she like dots. She also like pumpkin. She has a lot of dots and pumpkin, but her dots and pumpkins really make you feel touched, right? Her pumpkin as a sculpture or even as a fashion handbag, right? So this is how normal art training school is. All the art training school in China like. They keep doing all the things, they wasted a lot of time. I would say the skills it's okay to learn the skills, but it's really boring. Really tough process to go through this. And the thing is, after all the sufferings, so many days doing such thing, you're not being appreciated by the community, by the art community. Then why do that, right? The thing is that you want to show your colleges, show the world you are so creative, right? You have talents, but your talents is not this. It's not the skills. Skills really is nothing. That's what all the training school been teaching you, right? That's all the admission process in China, right? In China, for when you want to go to art college, it's like that. We have so many pieces on the floor. We will pick some good ones. But actually, you look at every piece are very good. American students, most of them cannot do so good, right? But sad thing is that even you work so hard, you're not being appreciated, right? Because you forgot what's the ultimate goal for artwork. Artwork is just to bring beauty, right? But beauty, or even sometimes it's not just beauty. It's just a visual way to express your feelings, right? You don't have to draw like that to express your feelings, right? Or show your creativity. You don't have to draw like that to show your creativity, right? And sometimes such things will even kill creativity. That's why nowadays in China art community, you look at most Chinese artists. Sad thing is that, for example, this guy. His name is Ye Yunqing. He even copied Belgium's artist's work. How come even your artwork you have to copy? Which means after so many years of training, his head has been no creative anymore. He don't know what to draw. He has all the skills. Then he start to copy, right? That's very sad, So whenever my friend asks, hey, should I have my kids trained all the skills, go to art school, and be very picky, be very careful. You don't want to kill your kids' creativity, right? Creativity is the main goal, right? Skills is not. So that's what I said. The whole world is like a movie. It's like a performing. We are all on the stage. We are all on the stage, right? We just need to be ourselves. We just need to express ourselves. We just need to be bored enough. We just need to dance. We just need to draw all the eyeballs, all the attentions. Then you become successful, right? It's not you're so hardworking and nobody not see you, or being used, or you are being used by other people as machine parts, in a big company, big machine. Like, I think that's why one of the reasons why I almost never worked for other company, because every people want you have your own mind, you have your own brand, right? But when I work for other people, I feel I'm just a machine. My brand, I don't use my brand, right? Because my boss told me what to do, right? So anyway, so yeah, that will be my first course. I want the first course I would say, hey, I will teach your kids contemporary art, not traditional skills. And contemporary art, how to teach. It's not about how to teach, it's about how to inspire them or how to play together. I want to be their pal, their friends, right? We want to have fun. That should be the process of learning contemporary art, learning art, creativity, right? Of course, still I know you guys are Asian parents, so I may not do crazy performance art with them, so you guys may be hard to accept. So besides that, another thing is that I may want to teach your kids design thinking studio, right? I think that's also, besides art, is design, right? Then we move to design. Then design, like I said, is the creativity process, like a design thinking. It's how to understand your audience, how to understand the target users, how to understand all the problems, collect all the information, research. Then we analyze, explore all the possible solutions. We ideation. Then we build a prototype. We filter the ideas to solve the problems, right? So during my past years, when I was doing a lot of consultants, say for my clients in China, for example, I did the work for this actually is a project for Nokia, and they spin off from Nokia, become a separate company called Mobile to provide mobile education, right? So we did a lot of research. This is called facial expression analysis. Yeah. There are some skills to learn how to do research, because even though you ask what your consumers want, he or she may not tell you the truth, right? She may try to please you and tell you what you want to hear. So we will observe their facial expressions, how they use the products, user diaries, or things. Sometimes, if we are in like my company, we will even use the eye tracking experiment to track how people's eye movement, right, on products. Some other project for China Mobile. This was eye tracking, eye tracking. So I know how you look at the products, then I analyze if the interactions, the user interfaces work efficient or not. Or research about mobile karaoke. I don't have to go detail to the projects. Like I did a project for iHealth. It's a Silicon Valley based company. We produce a lot of mobile healthcare hardware and software. So I will, like this one is for diabetic patients. I will do a lot of research on them, what's their pain, how they suffer, them. Then I will try to come up with a solution. Like many diabetic patients, like type 2. Type 2 is not you born with diabetics, right? Some women get after pregnancy, right? It's possible to manage in the diabetics, and it's possible you can recover from diabetics. But during my research, a lot of people may just lost management. They just don't continue to track their history, continue to the measurement because it's so painful, and also they get bored. Just like if you want to quit smoke, if a long time ago, after 1 month, 2 months, 3 months, then you lose patience. You don't do that anymore, right? So it's so difficult to quit smoke. Same thing for them to managing the diabetics. So my idea was I tried to cut the goal from a long-term goal to a weekly goal. So every week they will compete with last week, see if they're doing better, you know. So by that, to keep them tracking, managing their health. This I will just go very quick. I wouldn't go to details. You can see a lot of my work, also my design theory on my personal work site as well. Of course, like I said, I think you can, your kids or the students here, you can use a portfolio to show the college admission board how you are creative, to show you really have commitment on something, right? To show that you have a special personal interest, you have compassion for this world, right? So, for example, recently they said your portfolio, they require you to submit a portfolio, right? But even the portfolio can be in any media. It's not you have to have a sketching or you have to have a painting, no. It can be any media. The thing is you need to show the process of researching, ideation and the investigation, you know, all the things, the process. And other schools said creativity, personality, ability, commitment is what they are looking for. Actually, even if your kid is not going to art school or design school, it's also very important. You have a portfolio to show you have all the metrics, all the values they are looking for. Show your kids he or she has compassion for the world, he has been solving a problem, right? He is really creative, you know. So I would say the portfolio is not like this. A portfolio can be should tell a story. The story behind is your kid, how your kid is different from other people, right? This is one of my projects I use as an example. For example, one of my projects in China, when I was in China, called Qifan. So we try to help the kids in rural areas, you know. So we designed a model. For college students, they can lend the money to P2P banking, right? For poor kids in middle school or primary school, they wouldn't be able to pay back, right? So they can get a donation. And also, but the site, I also created a game. This game is called a charity game, right? Charity game, how I designed that is for example, you want to help kids, but you don't want to spend money, or you don't have money to help, right? So I created this game. Simply, you come here to play the games, and you can help the kids. Well, how? For example, in China, many Chinese people don't want to drink local milk, right? Chinese manufactured milk, because there's too many artificial is only in it, right? And people think it's not healthy. So we partner with a local manufacturer, Milk Manu, right? The milk manufacturer. They sponsor this game. So by playing this game, all the users, web users, get to know how Manu's manufacturing process is very healthy. So Manu rebuilt their corporate image, brand image. And after you successfully create a virtual milk through the system, Manu will donate a real milk to the kids in rural areas. So by doing that, the kids get milk, Manu rebuilt their corporate image. As a web user, you didn't spend anything, just play the games, you know, and you also help this child, and the child get milk, you know. So it's a 4 wins model. And we also hope the kids get a lot of books, you know, dictionaries and stationaries, and also clothing. So that was one project I did. Because of that, this project actually was invested by Wang Xuehong, the CEO of HTC. You know, so even though nowadays this project has failed, sadly, but we hope that many people do not yet. You know, and because of that, there was a while even the HTC, the Qifan board was trying to acquire my design consultancy and make me a full-time CEO of Qifan. So I've been representing Qifan for a while as well. Yeah. This was a project I designed for Nokia as well. Is we invented a new way of Chinese character input, by how the Chinese character is formed. But such project will be difficult for kids, of course. We also did some project for this called Rural Information and Communication Engine for farmers in China, to help them go across the middlemen, because the farmers, they didn't make much money. Even the rice and other agricultural produce sell so much higher price in the cities. So we were trying to help them. We were trying to help the Beijing government, city management for all the citizens to involve in the city management. Or this was for Nokia. Actually, this was very popular in India. There are some Indian parents here. Called Life Tours. It's by Nokia. Actually, we was the design team, designed the solution to help the farmers in India be able to get agriculture price, and be able to learn some skills as well. Yeah. So this was a project we designed for NGO to help the blind people be able, blind and visual impaired people be able to make friends online. So they can share audios, So that way we have done a lot of human factor research, because the blind people, they will hear the website, they cannot look, right? Also the visual impaired, they have to have like dynamic magnifiers or strong contrast of color or things, So we've done a lot of research then before, yes.
I have a question. Could you talk a little bit about the class itself, like what skills students should have before they can come join that class, and what skills they can learn from the class, like the first, second, third class that you mentioned?
Okay. For example, the contemporary art, I think don't need any basic skills, just come and play, right? But of course, I will share some other artists, how they did their work, and also all the art criticisms, their series, to inspire them to create their own piece, right? For design thinking is about how to targeting a problem and make ideas together to solve, right? For portfolio is the one I'm talking about right now. Portfolio, it will be good. They already have some like design skills, like Photoshop, but those are very simple, very easy to learn. Even if they don't know, I can teach them, or they can look at the tutorial online. It's very simple, like one day they can learn Photoshop, right? So the thing is how to research, then how to ideation together, then filter the ideas, then come out with final solution. Then I will help them how to make the story, make the portfolio presentable, to show their merits behind. It's not just by showing big picture, good pictures, showing your skills, you have sketching skills, but to show you have your compassion, you have problem solving skills, all the things. So I would say I will help them build the story. Yeah. So if they're already in high school, I think should be okay. Yeah. Middle school, they are not in a rush, so they can still have many skills. I mean, presentation skills can be improved. Yeah.
So if some student is in middle school, what kind of skills they build now so they can be more successful in your class?
Right. Like middle school, I would say contemporary art is just play, right? Just come and play. It's done about the age. Even my daughter started to play from 2 years, right? Design thinking or portfolio don't have to be prepared, but from every design thinking class, actually, it's a process of prepare the portfolio, right? So like right now, I'm hoping to kids, I will show you guys. For example, I'm hoping to kids how to targeting a problem. When you are targeting a problem, why I mentioned this project are to helping the minorities or disability peoples or poor peoples, right? by doing that, first you do a lot of research, you understand the problem. Second, you design a solution, you're helping them. So by this way, your solution really show you not just have research or skills, also showing you have a compassion, you have personal interest, you have other merits. That's the way how I want to help them. So even the kids I'm helping right now, one way, some kids I connect them to some Chinese traditional art and crafts, because there are many traditional art and crafts. There are not much people still want to learn about it, right? And also the local people are very poor. Actually, I mentioned a lot about that example. Yeah.
So in high school, how much time commitment? Because high school students also have a lot of, especially in this area, schools have a lot of workload.
Yeah.
So if somebody is thinking, like I'm in a situation where I'm thinking whether to take this route or not to take this route,
Yeah.
Would you share a little bit around what kind of time commitment?
If it's contemporary art, it's okay to play just once a while. If it's a design thinking project or portfolio project, it might take 2 or 3 months and very difficult because the research takes a lot of time. Yeah. You need all the, for example, the disability people, blind people, visually impaired people. You need to do a lot of research to really understand their pain and really understand the limitations or things. Then you will have back and forth all the ideations. So 2 or 3 months at least, yeah. So if it's part-time, it might take longer, even half a year, yeah, or a year, yeah.
And at school, they should take, in high school, they should take what courses they should take to help, that will help them.
I don't exactly know the current.
Like some schools offer Art 1, Art 2, AP Studio Art, those courses. So they should take those in school and come to your class in parallel? Or it's not needed for your course?
I think should be alright, because all the graphic tools are available. And also all the tutorials for the graphic tools are available on Udemy or as well. So, and all the tools are so simple, right? It just take 2 days, 1 day to learn Photoshop or Illustrator. Yeah. The only thing is the thinking process. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, that's actually hope can answer your question. So my idea is that I want to really help them to, by designing this, we are also helping other group of people, no matter it's minority or disability people or some local poor people, and we need to learn what's available materials and resources as well. For example, this was a project by MIT design lab in MIT. But I would say this maybe don't have to be a graduate student or college students in MIT. Even your kids should be able to do it. Because when they go to Africa, they find out the wheelchair don't work well in the road conditions, right? So they redesigned the way to manipulate the wheelchairs, right? So they use the very cheap materials just to rebuild that. I think your kids could be able to do that as well. And this makes it even more simpler, because when they go to Latin American, they observe, because a lot of ideas or problems come from observe, right, research. They find out a lot of Latin American women will peel the corns a lot, every day peel a lot, and that's hard work. So they just designed this from metal sheet to help them build a simple tool to peel the corns, right? Very simple solution, but help the woman, right? And they even didn't manufacture; they just build the instruction to help them. Hey, how you can make it one like this out of from metal sheet, right? And some kids in Africa, they have to carry water to get clean water from another place, walk for kilograms to home. So it's very difficult, right? So they designed this as a well. So you can just pour it home and you can easily carry 20 gallon liters water home, no problem, right? Simple and smart, right? Solve the problem. Your kids be able to do that as well. You don't have to be a college student to do that, right? But think about if it's designed by your kid, it will really not just showing he or she has a creativity mindset, but also showing he or she really has a commitment and a compassion to the society, right? And that's the value and the story we want to present to the college admissions, right? And this was in Bangladesh, right? People just cut the because it's so hot there. They just cut the bottle, and you can have a cheap air conditioning to your house, right? This was by a Korean student, so for people to have clean water, use the UV from sunlight to kill the bacteria, right? This was also simply get water from your rain drop systems, gutter. Use a bottle, right? So you can collect waters to clean your hands. So one project, what we did when I was in Central Academy of Fine Arts is that after the Sichuan earthquake, not just IVV was there, we also went there. So why we want to help the people after the earthquake? We want to help them stand up, really stand up on their own foot, not just by just giving them money donations. That wouldn't help much. So when we're doing the research, there was a minority group. Actually, the city in Wenchuan in China, in Sichuan, was mostly minority. Minority is Qianzhu, right? The last minority is called Qian. So they're like that. So the Qian woman has a special needle work, the weaving needle work. But they will make a traditional shoes, traditional pillows. You will just buy it as decoration. You wouldn't buy it and actually using that, right? So they actually selling for very cheap price, right? They're selling on the road, selling for very cheap price. So since we are design school, right? So we help them redesign based on their techniques and their patterns, but we redesign their work to be more closer to people's daily life and more fashion, right? So and we connect them to the store in Beijing or Shanghai. They can even one product they may only sell for 20 yuan before. They can sell for 2,000 yuan after, right? So that's why after our creativity work, we help them really stand up, right? So this was another minority called Yao Zhu, right? Yao. So this was not done by my school, done by my college, Hunan University, Yao in Hunan. So we also help them redesign because all the local minorities, they are living they still very poor, right? So we redesign it. So to help them. So if your kids also involved in such project, that will help them a lot, right? That's actually, like I said, we need to build a story behind it, right? That's why right now I'm connecting Yaozhu, Qianzhu, Dongzhu. Also, like there are some handmade weaving work in Sichuan, in Shuining, Sichuan. Again, it's their work. They weave in the carpet. Think about how an Iran carpet can sell in Silicon Valley. It sells even $500,000 for a blanket, for a carpet, right? But their work cannot sell for that much money. One of them, I think, is we can help them redesign the pattern, redesign the style. All the traditional art, we call it nianhua, it's like a print. You do the carving, you do the print, but still, not much people buying that. So they they're losing money and the technique are losing. No young people don't want to learn the technique anymore. So we want to learn the technique. We want to redesign the products. We want to helping people be able to stand up, to make money with their own local craftsmanship and their local art. Right. This is Miaozu, right? So they have their own needlework style, but still, who will buy this, right? So we want to help them redesign to be modern, but still using their techniques, so the local woman can make money, you know. Yeah. Anyway, so that's many about it. And like, if you ask what's my teaching style, I would say, hey, I just want to play, right? Even though for design we have many serious stuff, like I mentioned, the human factors, you know, dimensions, or psychology things, you know. But the key is not about that, because the key is still about creativity, right? So it's about how you really understand the consumers. Even Steve Jobs, after so many failures, he finally understands what consumer wants, right? This is the same guy, right? The guy also think a lot. So I would say it's not about teach how to push stuff in it, you know. I would say it's just about coach, right? So I would say my style is like scholastic method. We know scholastic, right? Scholastic is not like Confucius in China, because in China, Confucius, every word he say, you have to listen. Every word he say is a masterpiece, right? Everything he say is true, the truth. But Socrates is not. Socrates will keep asking questions. He never say, hey, whatever I say is true. Whatever I said is right? He will just keep asking and guide, inspire the people who ask him questions to find out the answer by himself. Even like there was a Quran book was funded by the Bauhaus professors. They even don't have curriculums. They just guide the students, inspire them. If you research about Quran book, very famous, yeah, and we have a peer critique or things, yeah. Anyway, that's about it. If you want to stay in touch with me by WeChat or by my app Enroll, you know, you can search my name on Enroll or email me, you know. Anyway, or any other questions?